Good morning. I'm very sad I cannot be with you in person today. I would have loved the opportunity to catch up with my good old friend Federica Mogherini. I started my professional life teaching economics in Cologne, and universities will always have a special place in my heart. Economists too. I'm even sadder that I cannot be here today, given the special place that the College of Europe has in the history of the EU, having helped provide an intellectual forum for the discussion and development of ideas around European integration since its foundation more than 70 years ago. It's even older than me. In a moment, Vice President Liliana Pavlova will provide you a more detailed presentation of the EIB and its activities in support of Europe's green and digital agendas. But before that, allow me to pass you three messages. First, about the EU Bank. Second, how we became the EU Climate Bank and what does it really mean. And third, about the innovation and the investment gap there. First, some words of introduction, because many of you may not be familiar with the bank and what it does. The EIB is one of the original institutions of the European Union established by the Treaty of Rome. We are 100% owned by the 27 EU member states, hence we are known also sometimes as the EU Bank. Like the European Commission and the Council of Ministers, we started work in 1958 and in Brussels too. We moved to Luxembourg with the Merger Treaty of 1968 that brought together the European Economic Community, the European Coal and Steel Community, and Euratom. Being an EU body, our mission is set out in the treaty, and on paper has not changed much. It was, and still is, to contribute to Europe's economic integration and balanced development by financing projects. In the past 60 years, the bank has had a hand in financing a vast amount of major ports, roads, railways, canals, bridges in Europe, everything that is needed to connect regions and create a single market. But just as the EU has evolved from 6 to 28 member states and back down to 27, the bank's activities have evolved in line with Europe's priorities. Which brings me to my second point. Green and digital are without doubt among our main focus areas today, both inside and outside the European Union, because we also operate around the world in Africa, Asia, Latin America. At the end of 2019, we adopted a new energy lending policy that ended our support for unabated fossil fuel infrastructure, including gas, which those of you who have followed the recent EU taxonomy debate can appreciate was not an easy decision. Our board of directors, which approves the projects we finance and decides on strategy, is composed of member states and the European Commission and includes representation from the European External Action Service, so there are always many different interests represented around the table. But this decision was a continuation of a decade-long commitment to climate action. We issued the world's first green bonds in 2007 and stopped financing coal-fired power projects in 2014. Last year, we went a step further, presenting a climate bank roadmap that sets out in detail how we will align all our financing with the goals of the Paris Agreement. We were the first multilateral development bank to take this step, although others are now following fast, also thanks to the change in the White House. As you know, the US has an important say in many of these international financing institutions. We have a target to devote 50% of our financing to projects that support climate action or environmental sustainability by 2025. And there is no point having a target like that if the other 50% of our business is for dirty projects that would undo all the benefits of the green ones. What does this mean in financial terms? It means that by 2025, we will be investing around 30 to 35 billion euros a year directly in climate action, and another 30 to 35 billion euros in projects that help Europe in other ways, but are sustainable from an environmental point of view. We never finance 100% of a project's costs, meaning this 30 to 35 billion should help mobilize something like 100 billion euros of climate finance a year. That's a drop in the ocean of the planet's needs. but quite a big drop. Europe accounts for less than 10% of global emissions. But our non-EU activity is crucial if we are to meet the climate and development challenges of the coming decade. Only half Africa's population of 1.5 billion people has access to stable and secure electricity supplies, and much of that is produced by coal or gas. With the continent's population on track to double by 2050, it is obvious that we can forget about the Paris Agreement if we cannot help Africa develop in a sustainable way. Our efforts and the sustainability goals of the United Nations would literally go up in smoke. As young people looking towards the future, you might ask, therefore, why don't we invest 100% of our funds into climate action? Well, this is because Europe is facing other investment gaps that, if we do not address soon, will mean economic decline and impoverishment. Which brings me to my third and last point. For decades, European investment in research, development, innovation has lagged that of our competitors by about 1.5 percentage points a year. The effect of that is visible for all to see. Europe still has leading positions in many sectors, including in green technologies, but also traditional industries such as the automotive industry or aerospace. But even those are facing a competitive threat from new entrants and technologies. Think Elon Musk's SpaceX and Tesla, or China's dominance in electric batteries or solar panels. We will not overcome any of Europe's challenges as long as we do not manage to trigger more investments in areas essential for Europe's long-term competitiveness and prosperity. Only this way can Europe deliver on its promise to citizens. Our starting position is actually good. Whether digitalization, robotics, or synthetic biology, the technical revolution is in full swing. And artificial intelligence, cloud computing, 5G, and the Internet of Things will lead to further technological leaps in the coming years. If we invest well, these technologies can strengthen Europe's economic position, create jobs, and at the same time help us become emission neutral by 2050. But I use could, the conditional tense, deliberately. First, we have to end the current pandemic. Until we have beaten the virus by vaccinating a large part of the global population, there will be no investment and durable recovery, but merely an economy in a perpetual start-stop mode. And of course, the EU Bank is also contributing to this overarching challenge, both by financing the development of vaccines. By the way, we were the early backers of BioNTech. As a matter of fact, we knew BioNTech before because we financed their cancer products. And by financing of diagnostics and treatments and manufacturing capacity. And let me mention that under the umbrella of the EU's Team Europe initiative, we are very much supporting the COVAX initiative, under which we help distribution of the COVID vaccines around the world. We will not be able to overcome this pandemic unless everybody in the world has access to vaccines. But here I will stop and let my friend Liliana Pavlova tell you more. I hope you find your visit, albeit virtual, to the bank today productive, and look forward to the day when we can welcome you again in person. You will be enthusiastic when you see what's happening here in Luxembourg and in this bank. Maybe you come as students, or who knows, maybe one day as colleagues. Goodbye, good luck with your further studies, stay safe.